My name is David Flynn. I am Senior Business Development Manager with Materialise, and today we're going to be focusing on a particular aerospace application. Let me share my screen here. So the focus today is on scaling additive manufacturing for mass production of aerospace parts. We're going to hit on how things are changing in the additive industry and the use of the technologies. We'll take a look at a particular challenge that that allows us to extend the use of additive, what the solution would be, and some of the keys to streamlining your production to scale. So we're really entering into a new era of additive manufacturing. We're moving beyond the prototyping and R&D stage. Now, additive is always going to be key in the product development, part development area for purposes, obviously, of making parts lighter and stronger, proving out different processes. But we need to move beyond that and get into actually producing end-use parts. So today we're going to talk about an application that uses additive for industrial mass part production. And we're seeing the adoption of additive for production purposes in many different markets. Obviously today we're focused on aerospace. Avio Aero, which is a division of GE Aviation, has leveraged the use of additive manufacturing and AM-specific software to help develop and build the world's largest jet engine. They're looking for a cleaner and less expensive solution than traditional production methods. And the GE 9X engine really incorporates a lot of these types of improvements and really leverages the capabilities of additive manufacturing. Now, the challenges included, first of all, we're dealing with reactive materials, titanium and aluminum. The operating conditions for turbine blades in a jet engine are extreme in terms of rotational speeds, high temperatures. These blades come under a great deal of extreme conditions, and they have to be structurally sound. The production goal is to produce 60,000 blades a year while meeting all the industry standards and maintaining efficiency. The technology that GE is using for this application is RCAM E-beam technology, and right now they're operating 15 machines and scaling up to the use of 50 RCAM machines to produce these blades that are going to go into that large engine. Now, the requirements for the solution for this application include being able to establish a certified 3D printing process for high throughput with efficiency in machine operation time, waste minimization, and cost control. Traceability is critical to this application. Every part that's in that jet engine needs to be able to trace back to its production conditions, including when it was built, where it was built, the machine that was used to create the part, the material and the material lot information, any certifications associated with the materials, so that we have a full understanding of the production history of the components that go into this engine. Obviously, it's a critical product because lives depend on its reliable operation, and the traceability helps us ensure the quality and ultimately the safety of the use of these engines. Quality control is critical. At every stage during production, we need to be able to quantify and identify any failure modes and address them in a controlled manner. Also, once we're in a production, steady state production, we need to be able to make sure that all the parts are within production tolerance as the parts flow through the process. Obviously, repeatability is critical. The parts we make today and the parts we make a year from now need to be functionally exactly the same. So the answer that GE arrived at in working with Materialise was to use Materialise Streamics for managing this system. Every step was optimized and integrated from design to production, allowing us to create a seamless digital production environment. Streamics allows process control, automation, and traceability, and it gives us the status of each print, how long it'll take, when it's ready, and then all the other traceability issues that I mentioned earlier. This instance of Streamics that is being used at Avio is connected to their ERP system, in this case SAP, that controls the production demand and is the source of information that establishes the production rates. The process is integrated with the AM software, data prep, the build preparation done largely in Magix, which is connected directly to the Streamics software, which in turn is also integrated with the Materialise build processors, which provide build data generation and also machine communication with the RCAM build process, the RCAM E-beam machines. Just taking a look at a real simple schematic of the process here, I think this is useful to look at. The data, the validated data for driving this process is managed in Siemens Teamcenter, PLM system, and the production demand ultimately is generated out of SAP. The validated data is passed over to Streamics along with a set of approved serial numbers, unique serial numbers, and then within the Streamics environment, the builds are scheduled and the build processor is initiated, which will apply labels to the parts using the serial number information as geometry. It will generate build data for the E-beam process and pass that information over to the target RCAM machine. During the build, Streamics is monitoring through the build processor system, monitoring the build and the machine that it's running on, providing status information and automatically updating information such as the start time, the end time of those builds, changing statuses along the way, and reporting during the build on progress, current layers, and also key sensor information. At the end of the build, the log file for that build is retrieved and stored in the Streamics system with the build record. So we have, again, end-to-end traceability on this process. Information from Streamics is also fed back to the SAP system, and you can see that we have a continuous chain of control and a true digital thread end-to-end in this process. Now, what are some of the keys to streamlining production to scale? I'm going to look at two different topics. One is software interoperability. So in most environments, we're dealing with a lot of manual activities. These include transcribing information from a screen to a piece of paper, jotting down notes from a screen, inputting elsewhere, and there's often multiple documents, multiple applications that are being used for tracking information. Obviously, this leads to inaccurate data, missing data, and it's highly dependent on the people that are executing the process. With software interoperability enabled largely through the use of REST APIs, we're able to tie together a lot of these elements and make sure that the output of one program makes its way seamlessly as input to the next, allowing us to execute this full workflow for manufacturing these components. The benefits here, again, I think are fairly obvious. It makes this process non-people dependent and allows us to acquire complete and accurate data for analysis. The next key to streamlining your production to scale is machine connectivity. Now, in traditional manufacturing, connectivity is a given at this point. Additive is starting to catch up in that area. And one of the keys to this is the adoption of industry standard protocols, especially OPC UA and MT Connect. Materialise is part of consortia working towards the adoption and of these standard protocols, establishing the communication semantics and things of that nature. This is going to be key to the productionization, if you will, of additive manufacturing. The partners that we're working with now include, among others, Trumpf, EOS, Stratasys, Arcam, HP, and others. And really, this approach is vendor agnostic. It's really all about the standards. This enables data-driven manufacturing, which is a must for mass production. Now, again, under normal circumstances, data collection is done manually or with disconnected systems. So we're dealing with, again, several applications, manually initiated data transfers, manual transcription, and so forth. As a good example of an implementation of seamless communication is the prepare and send mechanism in Streamics. This is sort of the magic button. Once a build is scheduled and a machine is ready to go, the prepare and send mechanism will initiate the labeling process. If that's part of the process here, it will prepare build data and send it to the target machine, and then it will start listening to the machine. And as soon as there's activity on that machine, it will start reporting that information back in Streamics. This kind of real-time monitoring and data update is a huge benefit, especially in a high volume production environment, so that there's not a reliance on manual activities for keeping track of those statuses. So the benefits that flow from this include refined scheduling, timely response to machine or build issues if a problem does occur, accurate and fast data collection, and more complete and useful data and performance analysis. So Materialise provides valuable software for the aerospace additive manufacturing activity. Our software increases efficiency and leads to shorter lead times, which results in higher profitability. And it also allows for innovation and agility to changes in these environments while meeting high quality and industry standards.